and unmuted. This is an absolute car crash. I'm very, very sorry. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Pint-Sized Preview. That was a complete and utter mess. We are here tonight, obviously, to talk about last night's fantastic win away at Bradford to set up another trip to Wembley. We'll also mention Saturday's upcoming game against Stevenage because, of course, there is plenty of business to take care of before that trip to the Arch. Just the two guests this evening. Let's bring them in very quickly before we talk about where the others are. Jaden, good evening to you.
Evening, how are you?
I'm not bad, mate. How are you?
Absolutely ecstatic. I'm loving life. We're going to Wembley. It's all that matters.
Another successful watch-along for you last night, and again, a really, really good game to watch live.
I don't know about that until like the 90th minute. But, yeah, no, it was enjoyable doing the watch-along. I think we got some fairly decent viewers, and you all saw me scream very loudly when we scored. So it was a win-win for everyone, really.
No beer for you tonight because you are nursing a headache, I'm told.
Yes, I am on the paracetamol. It's pretty much empty. I've got a little bit left in the bottom, but I'm not going to drink that. So I'm going to keep it calm after last night. Maybe have one too many. Feeling a little bit on edge this morning, but yeah, we're going to have a sober night, I think.
Speaking of one too many, let's bring Aaron into the studio. Evening, mate.
Evening, boys. You right?
I'm not bad, mate. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, likewise. Buzzing. Doesn't happen very often that you get. Well, maybe it does for us a few times in 4 years, but yeah, it doesn't happen that often to get to Wembley. So buzzing with that, whatever competition it's in.
All right, talk us through your evening last night at the football ground. I heard you got covered in beer from a certain someone.
Yeah, certain someone who should be on it, Mr. Spratt, wherever he is. No, I mean, yeah, it got to about 60 minutes, and I thought, this is pretty shit. I'm going to go to the bar and get pissed. So I started lining up the beers, and I had one in my hand as Butcher hit it, and Chris just went and hit it, and it just went over my head. And over Ollie as well. So if Ollie's watching, he was there. He was covered in beer as well.
I did mean to get the video up, actually, in the club, because you can see everyone stood there, and there's one bloke in a bright red top going absolutely nuts as it hits the net. I did mean to get it saved up.
Chris in the bright red.
We have got Jaden's clip from his watch-on to show as well.
Oh, wonderful.
Just before we get into it, we've got to mention where the others are. There's a few we can account for. James got in at 4 o'clock last night, so he's, I think, in a bit of trouble with...
Hey, there he is. Mr. for Ollie himself.
Well, so are we. Kyle was still on his social media break. We hope that's going well. And if you've seen the news in Plymouth this evening, you'll understand where DJ is.
Oh, Christ. Oh, God.
I hope he's watching and he's seen that. What have you got there? A tenner?
I have a tenner in my pocket.
You have a tenner in your pocket? Fantastic.
Do you know how good that is?
What a result.
Do you know when you're broke when you go
This has started well, isn't it?
This is a fantastic start to the evening. We are live, yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were still like...
No, we're
okay,
not. Bye-bye. Dear me. Right, I'm going to get my face off the screen for 30 seconds to compose myself. And we're going to bring up the video of Jaden's watch-along last night where
doing everything but compose myself.
Where the ball hit the back of the net.
5 minutes to play here. The switch finds McDonald. Don't just sit back, boys. Come on. Ball in. Away by Low. Kone down. Grimmer. Well done. Here we go. Butcher's in. If you can find the switch. Kone's won it back, though. Butcher's in loads of space. It's out wide to Matt Butcher. Matt Butcher's got a chance to win it here for Wickham. It's a goal! It's a goal! It's a goal to Wickham! Oh, my God! Matt Butcher with his first goal and send Wickham Wanderers to Wembley. Yes! Come on! We've done it! We've thrown out the pressure and Wickham are going to Wembley. Get in there. We've done it. Oh, my goodness me. It's Bradford City 0. Wickham Wanderers 1. 1 minute added on. in the added minute. Oh my God, first added minute of stoppage time. It's a lovely switch from Richard Kone and Matt Butcher with the finish to send Wycombe Wanderers on their way. If we can hold on here, it's a great finish straight into the bottom corner. And it has been well worth the pain if we hold on here. Wow. Oh my God, I'm out of breath. Oh my God, I'm going to die. Oh my God.
Composure, Jaden, composure.
I went from ecstasy to... I went from ecstasy. I've just been called fucking special.
I saw that. Jaden special.
Cheers, Harrison. Appreciate that. No, it was it was a very enjoyable moment. I mean, I was, as I've said before, I was trying to like not look like an absolute bell end, but also so I just sort of stood up and started screaming. I wasn't. I mean, if I wasn't live, I would have taken my top off and started sprinting around the house. So, it was probably a good thing that I was live. But yeah, a very special moment, and glad I got to share it with you all. It escalated from pure ecstasy to I'm going to die of a heart attack in about 15 seconds. But yeah, who cares? I lived. We're going to Wembley.
I mean, it was a really good moment, wasn't it, Abin? Because for 85 minutes of that game, it was backs against the wall, and Wycombe were terrible, really. But a really, really good end to the game.
Yeah, a bit of an unexpected end as well. You've got to be honest with that. The club were quite honest last night when they said like the better team lost pretty much, and they did. Like, well, I think we were saying on the group chat not long before it, like we've been saying we've had some of the best performances lately in the Bloomfield, and this was pretty much one of the worst. And then all of a sudden, got to give Kone a bit of credit for that, a bit of brilliance from him, and then a decent finish from Butcher. And sometimes that's what you need in it to get the confidence going. Just a shit performance, but you still nick it.
Mm-hmm.
Winning ugly.
I mean, it's something we haven't done enough of this season, is winning when we haven't been at our best. And coming into this tonight, I didn't want to talk about the performance too much because it was really quite poor. But sort of focus on the scenes at the end and sort of the jubilation from the players. I mean, Jaden, for the second half of the season, after what has been a really tough campaign, that's going to be huge, isn't it?
You just like looking at the videos of the group afterwards in the changing room celebrating. It's going to have a massive effect on the boys, and it's just going to spur them on. Plenty of confidence. Obviously, we've had a fairly decent run in this year. Only lost 2 games in the league, so it's what we needed really. Obviously, Bloomfield's going to have the fans right behind him again, which is good and fully deserved. And then the boys, obviously, that's a huge moment for them as a group, because to come from pretty much pinned in your own half, one magic moment, and all the times we've lost out on points to late goals, we're the ones who finally get what we deserve at the end of a game and get the win. So it's definitely made all that pain and suffering earlier in the season with late goals worth it, I think.
On the goal itself, Aaron, it's a really special hit from Matt Butcher, someone who you wouldn't, I guess, suppose has got that in his locker. But in a moment like that, on a pitch like that, it's a really, really superb goal.
Yeah, decent goal. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't know that much about Butcher before we signed. Obviously, seeing that he got promoted and stuff with Plymouth and things, but didn't maybe know he had that in his locker from what we've seen. I know we've only seen him for 3 or 4 games, but solid in the middle and a bit of a Scowen type player, but not necessarily the player you expect to pop out of a goal. So a nice way to score your first goal with it being a good finish as well as a semi-final win.
Mm-hmm. And you've mentioned Jaden Richard Kone's, I guess, moment of brilliance as well in the lead up to the goal. A lot was said about him on the commentary from Sky Sports. So, his story is getting out there. He's making a name for himself for the right reasons. But again, in a moment like that, on a pitch like that, for someone who was, I guess maybe that the pitch suits him ever so slightly in a very backwards way. He's just playing on these park fields. The way he digs the ball out of his feet and finds that pass, again, exceptional.
I mean, yeah, it's a ridiculous ball. You know, we've seen he can play a ball like that. Pretty well, 20 odd seconds into his debut against West Ham, he pulled a pretty decent cross out of the bag. So, yeah, to do it on a pitch like that, and I was saying before he came on actually, because I thought maybe it would suit him a little bit more. He'd be used to playing on that sort of, you know, awful surface. So yeah, I think it was definitely the right sub from Matt, and just what a ball that was to find Butcher. You could see as soon as, you know, well, he put in the pressure, didn't he? Got the ball back off Stubbs, and yeah, just looked straight up and found Matt Butcher. It was, you could see it was on as soon as he hit that. It was just, yeah, perfect from him. And it's just so good to see that Kone has this side of his game where he can link up the players well. He's not just a finisher. And he's done that obviously with Grimmer against Peterborough. And now he's got that great assist for Butcher in the game last night. It's really encouraging signs to see how good he is.
Mm-hmm. On the performance itself, Aaron, as a whole, Bloomfield came out after the game and said he wasn't pleased with the 90 minutes as a whole. The players took to social media and said they were disappointed as well. One man really to thank for the fact that it was 0-0 for so long, and that's Max Stryjek. A few iffy moments this season, but probably his best game in the quarters.
Yeah, definitely his best game of the season by far. Like you just said, he's some dodgy moments and a few very well publicised sort of mistakes that had gone viral. But last night was one of the best performances we've seen from him, if not the best. And yeah, some of the saves are ridiculous and shows why he's still rated by Blooms and by most of the fans as highly as he is, as probably one of the best shot stoppers we've had in a long time.
Mm-hmm. We saw the post last night, Jade, and I think DJ put it on that Annie said he's not getting any tonight or something like that because he looks so resting bitch face. But I made joke it says the happiest I've seen him. He just has got that. I don't know how to explain it. He just looks no serious all the time, but you can tell when he's beaming on the inside. His interview with Phil after the game, a lot of emotion came out of him. He mentioned being on the bench for Sunderland's playoff loss against Charlton years ago. You know, he would have wanted this more than anyone.
Yeah, I believe this is, well, what's in line to be his first start at Wembley. So it's definitely one to tick off for every single football player, really, no matter what competition you're playing in. And yeah, he more than deserves it. You know, it was such a fantastic performance from Max. And he's one of them characters who doesn't show much emotion, like you said, but you can really tell, you know, when something means a lot to him, and when he's happy on the inside. And yeah, it was really good to see Max back at his best, really, because I know he's been criticised and for, well, I guess rightly so, for some of the mistakes he made earlier in the season. But his confidence seems completely back to its best, and he's had 2 or 3 very, very solid games recently. So yeah, I'm so happy for him. Man of the match, deservedly so as well. The funniest part was when he was on the interview with Sky Sports afterwards and was complaining that the trophy wasn't real silver or something. So yeah, he's still got his sense of humour. But yeah, it's brilliant for Max. You know, he's a fantastic shot stopper at this level. I even think maybe his distribution's got a little bit better over recent weeks. And yeah, just honestly, very, very happy for him.
Just saw that.
We've got this one as well from Alison.
Who's Jadden?
Jadden.
Let's talk about more positive performances then, especially from the defence, Aaron. Joe Lowe and Tafazoli, once again, really, really good on a pudding of a pitch. It must be quite difficult to sort of stay in the loop for 90 minutes. But again, Bradford had their attempts on goal, but never really, there was not really too many clear-cut chances that the defence let them through.
Yeah, I mean, they've formed quite a partnership, I think, since kind of the two of them, since we've switched to back four and then gone with those two more. I'll be honest, a few months ago, I would have thought maybe not the partnership and we'd miss Farino, but Taff looks back to, we've said it a few times, a few players, but back to what we kind of expect from him, and looks like he's back to full fitness. I think at points maybe we haven't seen him fully fit, and that's what some of the performances have lacked. And Joe Lowe just seems to get better and better every game, I think, at the moment. And it's just a signing that I don't think anyone thought when we signed him he would be quite as good as he's turning into already.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, Jaden, it's another trip to Wembley, as we've mentioned. One of the competition that a lot of people, group stages especially, aren't a massive fan. Well, as soon as you get to this point, all out the window, everyone's getting ready for a big day out. I mean, at this point, when you're at this stage, you can understand the benefits that the competition has, because it's a chance for these League One and League Two clubs to get to Wembley for a big game out where they wouldn't be able to otherwise.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, playoffs for us really is out the window. None of us expected it. None of us do expect it now. But yeah, it's no matter what sort of run, how easy it's been to get to Wembley. Obviously, last night was anything but. But you look at the games we've had before, three academies. It's fairly. It's just easy money, basically. Like the prize money that we got. Obviously, we get a load of money for the final TV rights and that. And if we do go on to win it, it's just another nice payday. So it's worth it is in one sense, when you look at the bigger picture, it is worth actually taking it seriously, because I know we haven't really in previous years, but it's good to see Matt taking it seriously. And another day out at Wembley, which I don't think any of us would have expected at the start of the season. So I'm delighted. It doesn't matter how we get there, we're going. So yeah, good chance of some silverware. Made us a lot of money off of prize money and that, and still, well, probably more to come, you'd think, wouldn't you? But it's understandable as to why the competition's there.
Mm-hmm. We'll touch on, Aaron, why this is a huge thing for Bloomfield in just a moment. But at the start of the season, he made a promise that Wycombe are going to take this competition seriously. He said he wants to attack these games and win the games and get as far as he can. And, credit to him, he's done just that.
Yeah, no, fair play. Like Jaden just said, we haven't maybe took it as seriously in recent years. And yeah, he's took it seriously this year. He's given other players a chance, but he's gone strong every game. And it's a good opportunity to see that. Kone's first start, and we saw Declan Skura right back in the early rounds. So it's a good opportunity for players like them. But it's still an opportunity, like you just said, of getting to Wembley and a big payday for the club and a big day out for the fans. So why not take it seriously and give yourself every chance to get in there?
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Matt Bloomfield then, Jaden. A lot of tweets going around about his journey with Wycombe. He's been to Wembley now as a player and a coach, and now he's going to lead the boys out under the arch as manager. I mean, it's a incredible story, really, and really quite touching after all he's been through this season.
Yeah, definitely. He deserves that more than anyone, after all the stick he's got and things like that. It's just fantastic to see the whole, Wycombe sort of is built on positivity, and it's great to see the positivity back, definitely within the squad. You could see in the positivity back within the manager as well, because he just seems so upbeat from last night. Honestly, when I've interviewed him after the games recently, he's just seemed a totally different person. They've backed him in January and it's paid off, and we're on the up now. And obviously the confidence to be high going into the league as well, which is equally as important as this cup final coming up. Mm-hmm. But it's so good for Matt. Like you said, he led the boys out when we won at Wembley. Obviously he'd retired by the time we got there against Sunderland. But yeah, it's really, really special for him to be the man to lead us out. And I know we have quite a history of Wembley. We've played there. This will be the fourth time in 9 years, I think. So for him to come in and then a year to the day he took over, take us to Wembley, it's just it's special, really. And I'm so happy for him because he deserves it.
Mm-hmm. Difficult, Aaron, to not get carried away in the idea that we're going to Wembley, but it is over a month away, and there is a lot of league games to come in that time. I think there's 7 games between now and the beginning of April, but this is going to give us a huge boost, isn't it? In those games, the idea of a Wembley trip on the horizon, it's going to give us plenty to look forward to, and hopefully the good performances come with that.
Yeah, you'd think the players have now got a month to prepare for it. But we've got important games coming up in that, and they're professional. Matty's professional. They'll kind of have put that to one side, the win last night, and be focusing on Stevenage and the next few games now. But a chance players everyone's going to want to play at Wembley, whatever competition it is. They're going to be doing everything to be on that start 11 now, and hopefully that means better performances still, and we can keep up. It's not a great run. The wins aren't always there, but we're a couple of clean sheets in a row now and stuff, and hopefully the confidence from that will build a bit more and maybe put a little bit more of a run together in the league now, starting on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. We look forward to seeing what the club can come up with in terms of plans for the Wembley trip. Lots has already been discussed in a short space of time, but they do feel it's an opportunity to get the town back on side with its football club. And so we look forward to seeing what happens there. And I'm sure we'll sort of touch on Wembley every week up until the final, or when there's a few more bodies, we'll really go in detail on the cup run as a whole, as well as recent past trips to Wembley. But I think that just about sums up yesterday's performance. But I'm sure we'll make its way into conversation over the next few weeks. Just before we move on then to Stevenage on Saturday, we've got to mention a mental health panel run by Barks and Bucks FA together with the Wycombe Wanderers Foundation. Supposedly there's ex-players getting involved. I don't know if that's common knowledge of. I've just dropped a stinker there. 11th of March 2024 down at Adams Park. Should be a good evening. So get down there if you can. Right then, Saturday, Jaden, against Stevenage. Let's start off by reflecting on the last game. We all know what happened, and this is a game that Wycombe really, really want to go and win.
Absolutely. The players are going to be well fired up for this, especially from the events of the last fixture. I feel like Stevenage aren't really in the best run either, are they, at the minute? So it's definitely one we can go and hopefully win. The events of the reverse fixture will still be in the memories of plenty of players. And I'd imagine even, Left Leahy plays, he'll be wanting to get some sort of revenge there. So will the rest of the boys, obviously, because they ended Brandon Han's season as well. And Steve Evans is a detestable prick. So I would absolutely love to beat that fat bellend. But hopefully we'll go there, smack him up, and come away with a very unhappy Steve Evans and 3 points.
I'm glad the language has been toned down slightly from the pre-recording chat we had.
Yeah.
Kyle, that's why.
Kyle's not here.
But he is right, Aaron. He is an arrogant arsehole, very, very unlikable. But I think James was saying that even the gaffer alluded to it last night, that he's not a nice bloke. I think there's a big comment last week he said about one of his players getting injured, and a lot of fans have very quickly jumped at it and said, well, we've had issues this season. For Bloomfield and the playing squad, I guess James already mentioned it, but this is a chance to get one over on them really after the game at our place.
100%. I think not only just obviously the events of the reverse fixture are going to make it more of a feisty game than perhaps it normally would be. Even forgetting their running with Wycombe, watching some of his interviews over the past 3 or 4 games when he's calling out refereeing decisions and then sort of suggesting that the EFL and the refs have got some kind of secret little plot against anyone managed by Steve Evans to stop him getting in the playoffs and stuff. He's a fucking idiot. Like, what is he talking about? Everyone in the league's got something to stop that fat twat getting in the playoffs. Yeah, okay then.
The sooner he finds out it's him rather than Stevenage, the better.
Yeah, it's just him. No one likes.
Just boost his blood pressure slowly but surely every weekend, and hopefully he won't see at the end of the season. I'm just trying to find their recent form because if I remember correctly, it's pretty poor actually. Bear with me a moment. Stevenage. Winless and 4.
Yeah.
So this is a good chance, Jaden, for Wycombe to go there in good form ourselves and get a good result.
Hopefully,
yeah, right.
Sack then.
Huh?
Hopefully, he gets the sack then.
Yeah, hope so. And then the Stevenage board will have it out for him, won't he? He'll accuse them of all sorts of shit. No, it's definitely the right time to play him. Like we said, I think fortunately for us, this run of hard games has fallen with all 4 teams not being particularly the best of form. Obviously lost to Bolton, but the win against Peterborough as well. It's just the right time to play these sort of teams. Stevenage are falling down the league a little bit. Obviously, they're still going to be a fairly decent side. I'd imagine they'll still finish above us, but I can't see them getting in the playoffs now. So hopefully with this poor run of form and the likes of, Bristol Rovers, who are sort of in and around where we are, going there, getting 3 points, will spur us on a little bit that we can go there and get something. Obviously, we beat them in the Bristol Street Motors as well at their place. So we've been there, done that. Just need to do it again and hopefully come away with 3 points.
Mm-hmm. How do Wycombe go about doing that, Aaron? Because it's always a really, really tough place to go. You've got to be in, expecting a battle, as Wycombe have sort of been that team in recent years. Teams have come to Adams Park to, not always play a game of football, but have a bit of a ruffle up. Wycombe have got to be on it this weekend. But how do we go about getting the points?
They have, yeah. I think hopefully Sadlier being back, I think he's turned into a bit of a key player for us over the last few weeks. So hopefully he's back. Obviously, he was out with illness last night. I think we need a bit of pace up against them. So sadly, I think maybe even put Vincent Young in. I know last night wasn't a great game from him when he came on, but the previous few before that, he's looked very decent. Just go for it. Just an attacking team, bit of pace, and I think I don't know. I don't think it'll be as hard as some people think. They're in a bit of a rut at the moment, and I think they've got a few lucky results. And then when they haven't got a few decisions, they've whinged and stuff. But they're a good team. But then they're nothing that special. We've got a decent chance.
Harrison, I think you'll find he's got a revolving door instead of a front door. They move and allow them to walk through it.
Oh, can we share that one as well?
We should start bringing in a new segment each week.
The private chat.
Each week we're bringing a new segment. Remember Robert? Is it Robert Huth during lockdown?
Yeah.
Oh, what, when he played Schlong or no Schlong or whatever?
Yeah. We'll have to play that with the villain of the week. So let's do it then. Let's have our first week then of Schlong or no Schlong. Jaden, does Steve Evans have a big or small dick?
Small, I reckon.
Oh,
definitely.
Girthy though, or just small?
I reckon it's like a stumpy one, to match him.
Fat and stumpy.
Yeah, fat and stumpy. More girth than length.
We haven't even got Chris or Kyle on here, and it's turned into this.
Or Deej.
Yeah.
Deej would be the one to turn
really. We wouldn't have got past the Kone assist, though, if Deej was here. So let's count our blessings.
You'd still be here describing it.
Yeah. And that's
exactly what speed the ball went through the
air. What are your thoughts, Aaron? Steve Evans, big dick, little dick?
Nah, short and stumpy. Short and stumpy, little fat fucker like him.
Surely. Let us know in the comments as well. Steve Evans.
Well,
Stevenage
there's one comment about him, but I'm not sure we can share that one.
We could be in trouble here, judging by who's in the chat this evening. Steve Evans, big dick, little dick. But let's move on. Let's move on.
How have we gone from the club promoting us to this? Mr. Tumble, fuck's sake. What is going on?
Dear me.
The stream's in the bin.
It was in the bin 10 seconds in when I was on mute.
We've gone from George being on mute to Steve Evans' penis.
What more do you want to listen to on a Thursday evening? I'm not sure where we go from there, really.
Wembley?
Yeah.
Let's go back to Wembley. Oh dear. Right. I've really lost it here.
This is all my fault.
If you're wondering how we've got onto this, Jaden put in the private group, real question, how cock is? And now here we are, announcing it to the world.
I was just curious, you know. DJ, big or little?
Let's move on. Let's move on. Little. It's little. It's very, very small.
What the fuck?
Poor DJ.
Kieran Sadlier, Jaden, missed last night's game through illness, but it does, I guess, mean it's going to be raring to go on Saturday. And he's been huge for Wickham, not like DJ Easy.
Did you have to go there? We were just regaining composure.
Composure? What is that? We've discovered tonight there's no composure from anyone.
You can't.
We can't read that out. Fucking hell. So Kieran Sadlier, yeah, obviously missed the game yesterday through illness.
Can we get Ollie on?
Ollie. Who needs scouting when you've got Farina? Oh, let's just calm it down in here and talk about Kieran Sadlier. I think George is crying. We've killed the host.
Sadlier's performances, by the way, not anything else.
Sadlier's performances.
On the pitch.
Ollie's kicking off. Sadly, on the pitch in recent weeks, he's been our best player now. I firmly believe that, and I hope he's got a longer contract than just 1 year. You know, because he's really rolling back the years. You know, he was good at Doncaster a few what was it, years ago? I think that was the season we went up to the Championship. We were looking at him. Obviously, ended up at Rotherham. But yeah, there's always been a very good, quick winger in there. Who's he looked a little bit short of confidence when he first came because obviously Bolton were not playing him or saw him. Ian Evatt just didn't rate him for some reason. But he's really sort of put his own stamp on this team and. Yeah, it's really good to see. Like he's a very talented winger, gets to the byline well, can do it all, can finish. It's honestly just such a good pickup on a free transfer for Wickham. I firmly believe that's been sort of our bread and butter, really, hasn't it, over the years? And another one that go down as a success story.
Yeah. There was a question I wanted to ask regarding lineups and personnel changes. Again, Aaron, I ask you every week about your lineup predictions for the following game. Do you think that Wickham are a better team without Sam Vokes in it? As good as he is individually and as much as he brings to the table. You know, we saw it last night again. Wickham got further up the pitch when he went off. Is that something that for the remainder of the season is going to sort of be a key decision that Bloom's got to make?
Quite possibly, yeah. I think it depends on the game and who we're playing. And I think last night didn't suit him, perhaps the pitch and the way we're playing. And I mean, he didn't get a lot of service, to be honest. And like you kind of said earlier, maybe Kone was a little bit more used to those kind of standards of the pitch and what's going on. But I think there's a bit of an argument that maybe he's not a starting player so much these days. I mean, go back not that long and he was one of the first names on the team sheet. And now I think we've got other good attacking options. We play a different way of football that we don't always need him as kind of the focal point up front. I think we'll still see a fair bit of him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's slowly becomes a bit more of a sub rather than a starter over the next few weeks and months.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, looking ahead, Jaden, to the next few weeks, you know, after the Stevenage game this weekend, we've got a favourable run of games, really. Definitely going into March and the start of it, a few games where Wickham should be picking up results to really, you know, solidify a mid-table finish. It's an important few weeks for the club.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really, really important. Cheltenham and Port Vale coming up, which is obviously they're in and around us. I think 2 wins there should pretty much guarantee a survival. Not that I'm particularly worried about it at the minute because, just we're on a bit of a roll, aren't we? But it's yeah, to be fair, we've got to look at these next few games and think we've got to be taking maximum points from most of them, especially with how well the squad's played recently. It's been a real big boost of just everything after the January transfer window, and the Wembley, the success getting to Wembley is only going to spur us on to hopefully make the most of the league in these next few weeks before we head off to play under the arch. But yeah, like you say, these games coming up are huge for us, and probably a much more favourable run than what we've just had. And if we play like we did in the games that we just have, then I see us getting nothing but 3 points, hopefully, in the upcoming games.
Mm-hmm. And just before we move on, then, Aaron, to predictions and everything else, we've mentioned recent weeks hitting form at the right time. This is much more like it, supporting wonders. Plenty to look forward to, plenty on the horizon coming up, and just an all-round better atmosphere both on and off the pitch.
Yeah, a bit more like what we've come to know definitely over the past 5, 6, 7 sort of years. Just seems, even before kind of yesterday in the Wembley, the last few weeks, it seems a bit more of a positive vibe. Probably since the January transfer window, to be honest. Hopefully it can continue and have a good end to the season now.
Mm-hmm. So looking ahead to Saturday then, Jaden, predictions from you and what you're expecting from the 90 minutes.
I'm predicting a 2-1 Wickham, a Steve Evans meltdown, and not a lovely shithousing win after an absolute bullet from Freddie Potts in the 83rd minute to make it 2-1. Yeah, so and then Luke Leahy just goes up to Steve Evans and hits him with a little shush, like that, just to rub salt into the wins. But I think we will win. It's one of them ones where, like we said, it's the right time to go play them. So bring it on. Honestly, we'll be well up for it, especially after the events, the reverse fixture. So 2-1 Wickham. Steve Evans meltdown. Watch this space, because I feel like that is quite likely to happen.
And your thoughts, Aaron, predictions and on the game as a whole?
I'm going to go 1-0 win. I think we're putting together a bit of a roll of clean sheets, and hopefully we can continue that. I think a Steve Evans meltdown as well, and I'm really hoping it's because we shithouse the goal somehow, whether it's like just anything that they can show back afterwards and he can moan about, a dodgy decision somewhere in it, just to rattle him a bit more. I'll stick with the 1-0.
Mm-hmm. I'm also going for a Wickham win. I believe that the boys are going to be fired up so much to go and get a win after the first game that I can't see anything else but a Wickham victory. So 2-0 from me. We'll very quickly re-mention the mental health panel with Bucks and Bucks FA and the Wickham Wanderers Foundation. Get involved with that if you can. That should be really, really enjoyable and useful. Thank you very much to Jade and Aaron for joining me this evening. We've mentioned everything from Wembley to Steve Evans's penis. A large range of talking points this evening, but very enjoyable all the same. So thank you, gentlemen, both for joining me this evening. And Tom's chucking in an 8-0 Wickham.
I want to see an Ollie fight against Steve Evans outside the ground.
Just get Ollie enough beers in him and it'll happen.
Fire him up. Give him a pep talk. It'll take Steve Evans on.
Give Steve Evans a Farino face mask and it'll happen.
Oh, God.
The once respectable pint-sized preview has gone to pot in the space of 40 Thursday evening minutes. Let's close this down before we say anything else off the record. Thank you all very much for joining us. Safe trip to Hertfordshire if you're making the journey Saturday. And we will see you all next week. Cheerio.